So what does healthy masculine energy look like? What does healthy male psychology look like? What does an integrated man look like? These are really important questions to actually consider, to reflect upon, and to get some good answers to, because if you don't, it's easy to just be misguided. It's easy to have a poor image of this in your mind. So in this video, I want to help you to kind of fill in some of these blanks and build a bit more of an understanding so that you're not easily kind of led in the wrong direction. And to further help you, I want to recommend some of these books, right? Take a good look at them, take some screenshots, right? I recommend ordering them and reading them. They're going to help you quite a lot. So our mainstream culture essentially shows men as very emotionless, very stoic, no signs of weakness or vulnerability. Of course, they're very disconnected from their heart, essentially. This is kind of obvious. They're disconnected from emotion. They're actually just kind of numb. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have a very kind of new agey man who's very in touch with his emotions. He's soft. He's in touch with his helplessness. He's in touch with his vulnerability. But on this end of the spectrum, he's disconnected from his power, his forcefulness. He's disconnected from his gut. And being a man has far less to do with trying to be a man. It has more to do with integrating and becoming grounded and present and conscious of who and what you already are. And essentially just grounding yourself into your actual nature, grounding yourself into your own personal energy, and learning to not be thrown off so easily, thrown out of yourself by the influences that are going on around you. It essentially means showing up as a warrior of integrity, of connection, of intimacy, of compassion, and cutting through whatever is obstructing your well-being and truth. So I want to talk a little bit about integrating various aspects of human experience and how that all kind of lines up with being a more integrated man. Now again, keep in mind, this is just an introduction. Read those books. They're going to go a lot more deeper than just this video. But for starters, we have this body. We have this head. We have this heart. We have this gut. We have this throat. We have our genital region, right? We have all these various regions, and they hold different energies to them for the most part. Your head, and when you feel into its internal space, has a different energy than the heart, and when you feel into that space versus the gut. And without integrating all these kind of major energy centers, you're essentially fractured. There's internal fractures that are blocking that wholeness from just occurring naturally. Essentially, really what's going on is you're obscuring your own wholeness and your own connectedness. Because you're already whole and complete as you are, but there's so many internal divisions and conflicts that essentially obscure your natural self, your authentic self, who and what you really are. And without learning to bridge these gaps, fill them in with awareness rather than unconscious conflict, without doing that, you're kind of just going to be on the path of suffering and a feeling of a lack of wholeness, really, not perceiving yourself to actually be whole. So we'll start with the head. What does the head kind of do? What's going on here, right? The mind. It's logical, it's rational, it's focused. So essentially, a healthy integrated man is capable of making clear decisions. He's capable of strategizing. He's capable of having vision, cares about the truth and truth seeking. He cuts through distractions. He's able to stay on course. He can have that sort of one-pointed attention, mastery. This video is mainly about masculine energy. What is a healthy masculine energy all the way on this side of the spectrum, as opposed to a healthy feminine energy? A healthy masculine energy is decisive, assertive. He's not afraid of asserting himself into the world. He's able to do so clearly. He knows himself. He takes action with confidence and certainty. He's knowledgeable. He's sharp. And he's visionary. He's strategic. So he sees the bigger picture and he's able to plan for the future. He has perspective, and this keeps him grounded. This helps him to not get thrown off by the random sort of things that are occurring that can make someone react. He has perspective, and he's able to not lose that. And because of this, he's able to know what direction to actually go in. So all this has to do with navigating reality well and being grounded in a lot of the practical things. Moving on, as we have the heart, we have compassion and integrity. He's courageous. He's open. He's able to face his own emotions directly. He's able to be vulnerable. And he's recognizing this vulnerability as a source of strength, power, connection, and energy rather than weakness. Practically everyone is actually afraid of their vulnerability. They're afraid of that inner child in them who's very helpless. They're very vulnerable. It's been repressed. But the real integrated man, of course, becomes an inner parent to his inner child. He does not repress, but he's able to face it directly. He's able to look at it and open his heart to it, to have love for the various parts of him and all his emotions and feelings. He uses his awareness to heal. So he's compassionate and fair. He's able to lead with fairness and care for others. He's able to feel others deeply. He's not disconnected from others, but he's present with them, grounded with them, able to sense into the experience, feel their needs, feel their concerns. Again, there's not an impulse to avoid. It's kind of fearless. It's grounded. It's totally open to what's going on. Being able to be sensitive to the dynamics that are occurring. Sensitive as in feeling deeply and aware. He's honest and he's authentic, so he speaks truthfully and aligns actions with his core values. He's emotionally intelligent and self-aware. He's not acting from protection, defenses, and he's able to see himself clearly. So when those things do arise, he can recognize that they're arising and start to make the choice, and just simply make the choice to not need to act out of them. But essentially, he's outgrown his boy psychology. He's outgrown his defensive and reaction-based and fear-based tendencies. He's outgrown his addictions and cravings and compulsions. He's mastered his own psychology, not just through a strictly logical way, but through an emotional way, an energetic way. He's loyal, he's protective, so he creates safety for those who are under his care. You can kind of think of like a king, for example, a fair, just king looking out for his kingdom. Right? He sits on his throne and he looks out for the needs of his people, protecting them. There's walls up around the castle and the town around the castle, and they're ready to guard them, and he's also caring towards them. He's fair towards them. Of course, not all kings in history were like that. This is very kind of like archetypal and imaginative, what I'm talking about. But essentially, he's taking responsibility for the people he looks out for. And the healthy king is essentially looking over his kingdom and the people in it, the welfare and the well-being of all who exist within it, within his kingdom. Moving on is he's loving and he's connected. So he's skilled in intimacy. He's skilled in containment. He's able to provide safety and security to feminine energy. He's not thrown off easily by feminine energy. When he is triggered, for example, he's actually able to go to the source of the trigger and heal it. So he sees the other people deeply, feeling his oneness with them rather than acting out of reactivity, protection, again, and he's genuinely caring for them. He genuinely cares. He doesn't care because he needs something out of them. Although he's not afraid of his needs and his wants, and he's not afraid of asserting them, but he cares just because his heart is open, and he can't help but care because there's no blocks to his caring. He doesn't shut it down. Again, his heart is open. He lives life with an open heart. And he trusts that that is the right move. He surrenders to that being the right move, so to speak. Because the opposite is just living with a closed heart, and that's a lot of pain, suffering, etc. So next is gut, which is just instinct and raw power. And a lot of people have a lot of tensions in their gut. They have tensions basically everywhere, and we restrict ourselves in various ways. The healthy man's psychology has learned not to battle against himself, not to fight against himself, but to let his energies come out consciously and with awareness and not causing harm towards people around him. So, first point for gut is he's grounded and he's stable. He embodies presence, steadiness, and resilience. He feels his needs and doesn't sacrifice himself in dysfunctional ways to please other people. He's not a pushover, yet he remains compassionate and with an open heart. He feels his power, but with an open heart. So now we've integrated the heart with that raw power. So instead of power manifesting as aggression or oppression, power manifests as, what can I give? Or just simply feeling my power as a living creature, not afraid of the feeling and the emotional consequences of my personal power. He's intuitive and he's primal. He trusts his instincts and acts from deep knowing and authenticity. He feels his energy deeply and trusts it. He knows his own energy, the pure feeling, the felt sense of his energy. And he's able to rest in it. And this resting in his own energy connects him to his core instincts, right? His sort of primal self. And it feels pretty damn good. He's able to just be. Moving on is he's bold and fearless. He's able to face challenges with courage and strength. Challenge is an opportunity to grow. Challenge is an opportunity to refine himself, to master himself deeply. He's able to skillfully navigate challenges in a way that helps him to evolve rather than getting stuck in narratives that keep him stuck in the ego. He's essentially, instead of kind of like cowering down, he's able to step into his power. So this is something that some elements of our mainstream get correct, is that essentially the mainstream view is very oriented towards the head and the gut, disconnecting from the heart and emotions. And when you're disconnected from the heart, but you're connected to the head and the gut, it's easy to do aggressive things, oppressive things, because you don't feel others deeply. You don't feel your connectedness with them. You don't feel your empathy for them, your care, your compassion. You've shut all that down to protect yourself. And instead, you're acting aggressively based off of your own needs, just pushing to get what you want. This is very different, though. Because once all these three, this head, heart, and gut, are all working together, they're all synergistic. It's no longer strictly about what do I need, although yes, what you need is important. Receive what you need, right? But it's also, what can I give? What can I create? So challenge isn't just something that he'll cower, it makes him shrink, but he wants to actually face it fully. That's actually exciting to him. Instead of complaining and doing all these kinds of behaviors that close him down, repressing emotions, staying stuck in narratives that don't serve, he uses life to open himself up. He uses every experience to open himself up. He uses the intelligence of life, which he senses just by existing. He senses it in every experience. He uses that to open himself up and to raise his consciousness. Moving on is he's energetic and driven. So he's able to take action and follows through with determination. He's not afraid to assert himself, and he's not afraid of his own power. He's not afraid of his own energy. He's not afraid of being able to push a little bit. So again, it's very integrated. On one end of the spectrum, he's able to let go. He doesn't have to push for anything. He just simply lets go. But on the other end of the spectrum, he's able to really assert himself. I like that word more than push, because push comes across as too forceful. I'm not implying force. I'm just implying being assertive when it's actually necessary. And he can feel his power in asserting himself. So just a quick recap. The head, navigating life well, having purpose, direction. Think of sailors on the sea using the stars to kind of navigate and find direction, making sense of chaos. The heart, emotions, facing them directly, healing personal traumas, being related to others, feeling your connectedness to them, being related to yourself, embracing the inner child, becoming an inner parent to the inner child that exists inside of you. The gut, just raw instincts, primal, power. Being able to feel that power, assert it, being able to trust your instincts and act on them without gaslighting or doubting yourself. So what's it like to feel all three, to integrate all three? This is the question that I really want to kind of leave you with. How does thinking transform when you're connected to the heart? When you're connected to the heart, you can't harm people. You feel your connectedness to them. When you harm others, you feel that you're actually harming yourself because you're not separate from anyone. So your thinking becomes less attacking based and significantly less reactive and more attuned. Your headspace feels a lot clearer. So emotion and thinking are integrated here. How does your gut and your sense of power transform when you're connected to the heart? Instead of just steamrolling people and forcing yourself upon them, you can feel your power, you can be assertive, but you do so with care, you do so with sensitivity, so you're not harming other creatures. And then how does your heart change when you're connected to your gut? You're not afraid, you're not like timid, right? You're not too stuck in feelings. You're able to cut through things when it's necessary, cut through bullshit. You don't have to tolerate bullshit. You're able to cut through the blocks to your well-being. So when we combine all of these, this creates something significantly larger and healthier than when they're fragmented and cut off. That's it for this video. Again, remember to get the books that I got or that I showed you at the beginning of the video. If you enjoyed this, remember to hit subscribe. Remember to hit the like button. It helps me out quite a lot. Other than that, I'm offering one-to-one coaching. If you want to go deep in this kind of work, you can apply to work with me. All right, links in the pinned comment and the description. See you later.